Welcome to the fabulous Las Vegas Rotary Club. Our club continues to make a difference by teaching youth to succeed through literacy, education, and life skills development. This is my penultimate meeting, but who's counting? My name is Michael Gordon, and I'm proud to serve as the 95th president of the greatest Rotary Club in the world. I had to double-check this one, but it is true. Kirk Alexander will be leading our invocation today.
There's always room for a first timer, right? All right, so 5 years and a few months, and I'm going to actually do this today. So 3 years ago, Larry Tomczyk came to me and he said, you know, you ought to probably prepare for an invocation at some point. Okay. It's been on my phone since. So what I wrote then, and what I'll share with you today is something that's more based in Rotary International's words. The manner and context in which one delivers an invocation seems to be as important as the message itself. We attempt to respect the diversity of many traditions. Let us take a moment to remember all the religions represented in worldwide Rotary family. Let us recall that when we were invited to join this Rotary Club, we were not asked if we are of a particular faith or denomination. We were not asked because all religions are welcome in the Rotary family. Please join me in a moment of reflection and thanks with these words. With our friends beside us and no person beneath us, with the bonds of Rotary between us and our worries behind us, with our goals before us and no task beyond us, with a thirst for knowledge and a dream for world peace, we are thankful for our Rotary friends and the meal we are about to share. Thank you.
Thank you. And then our song leader is Jamie Goldsmith. Oh, she's getting some help.
Okay, I have lyrics for everybody. I thought it would be appropriate to sing the Air Force song, and I have a friend to help me. You guys can all help out. It's in here too. Okay. Focus, everybody focus. Ready? Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder.
Atom boys, give 'em the gun. Give 'em the gun.
Down we dive, spouting our flames from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame or go down in flame. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
You guys want to do the pledge too?
We'll do the pledge. All right, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Our Sergeant at Arms today is also Jamie Goldsmith, doing double duty. So, Jamie, while you're up, remain up. So, if you could take the microphone to Bob Warner for any international visiting Rotarians.
Nobody found us this time.
They don't know what they're missing, but they will next time. So, any visiting Rotarians? Visiting Rotarians, please raise your hands.
Hello, I'm Julie Pyle. I'm from Florence, Kentucky, which is just south of Cincinnati.
Okay, we have a banner. We will get a banner. Sean? So we'll come back to you for a photo. Okay, any other visiting Rotarians? Okay, then let's move on to guests of Rotarians. Guests?
Oh, I'm right here.
Hi, I'm Janice Lemke, and I'd like to introduce Denise Collins. She's our new sales manager at CLI Group. So happy to have you.
Hello, my name is Carrie Gross. I am proud to introduce you to my foreign exchange students about 2 years ago, Emilia from Finland.
Hello, Rotarians. I would like to introduce my guest today, Dr. Michelle Paul, Director of the Practice Clinical Psychology Center at UNLV.
I'd like to introduce my guests, my longtime friend, Lisa Bybee Farrell, and her husband, Jess. And Jesse is the speaker in a company called Jess Talks. And this young lady works with him, and she also has Lisa Listen, which coaching company. And we're happy to have them here today.
Any other guests?
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce my son, David Maffey. He works with me at Tiberti Management Company in our real estate. Thank you.
Yeah. And then I think there was guests over here. Okay, then just follow Jamel because it seems like she brought some guests.
Good afternoon, everyone. I brought my kids. I'm very hands-full today. So I have Ian. Come on, Ian. Wake up. I have Sophia and my littlest, Chloe. Thank you so much.
And they were all on the highway cleanup this Saturday.
Yeah. I like how the smallest one is the most brave. Any other guests? Okay, then let me introduce my guests at the head table. First up is Aaron Overton, our newest member, who's a professional web developer and relationship marketing strategist. He has published several tabletop miniature war games, and he was raised in Alaska and will be visiting a Rotary Club there next week. Joining him is Ted McAdam, who graduated from the Air Force Academy in 1960. 67. I was trying to spare you. 67, and served in the Air Force for 20 years. He met and married his wife Diana in 1968 while attending flying school in Oklahoma, which means the two of them celebrated 50 years of wedded bliss just this past weekend. They have 2 grown children, Laura and Scott, and a furry baby named Emma Grace. Ted is active in his church and leads a weekly Tuesday morning businessmen's Bible study at 7 a.m. at Leone Cafe in Tivoli Village. Please join me in welcoming all our visiting Rotarians and guests. Then, as you all have received the email, but it is sad to announce that past President David Wells, who served as our 54th president in 1976 to 77, passed away just this Tuesday. So I would like to read this obituary for David. Mr. Wells was born on June 20th, 1933, and moved to Las Vegas when he was 10 years old, a community where he created his legacy as a leader in architecture and paved the way for too many aspiring young architects to name. He graduated from Las Vegas High School, and after completing his architectural education, he founded the firm David Wells in 1967, now Simpson Coulter Studio. The firm saw significant growth throughout the years, as well as many new partners joining Mr. Wells. Until his retirement, his dedication to design was supported by the lasting relationships he built with clients, partners, and the community. His leadership brought alive many projects such as the UNLV Lead Library, the UNLV Boyd School of Law, Sunrise Library West, Charleston Library, and multiple prototype designs for the Clark County School District. His numerous successes led to him being honored with the Architecture Institute of America Silver Medal in 2017. He was also heavily invested in his community, He was one of the original founders of the Las Vegas Executives Association and served as a past president of the Rotary Club, an organization that engages in community service and provides mentorship and development opportunities to young professionals. Mr. Wells' dedication to being a positive force in all aspects of his life cannot be summed up in a single narrative, but the memories he gave to his family, friends, and colleagues will remain a testament to the impact he had and the fondness with which we will all remember him. I will ask for a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you. So, Jamie, if you are ready, we have some announcements. So, first up, right at your table, David Squire for feedback on the highway cleanup.
Thank you all who showed up for highway cleanup. It was a beautiful day, and of course the extravaganza immediately following at Jerry's house. So, and by the way, the picture on the wheel is by the famous photographer Chloe, who's Jamel's youngest daughter. So, you guys were cute. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks for organizing that, and thanks for keeping that highway clean. Next week, just a reminder, we will have prime rib, and then if you could take the microphone, or actually, President-elect Jackie Thornhill is going to come to the front. While she's coming to the front, I just want to remind you that we still have our Paul Harris Fellowship points match that will expire in 2 weeks. So if you would like to move up to the next level, you have 2 weeks to make that happen.
Hi, everyone. Last week we had the Wetzel Awards out at Nellis, and I'd like to ask all of the award winners to please come forward. We had wonderful participation. It was standing room only, and thank you to all of you that did show up and support us, all the Rotarians that were there. I wanted to let you all know this is our 15th year of the Wetzel Awards, and I'm proud to say that this marks my 3rd year of being able to facilitate this wonderful program. I'm honored to be able to do it. I'd like to announce each one of the winners. I'm going to ask them to come up and talk a little bit about what it is they do in each of their commands. And first we have Airman Desmond Jaffa.
Hello, everyone. I'm from the 99 CES, and what we do is we basically walk around with our survey equipment and we maintain the base. We build roads. We help the Red Horse Squadron build roads and do nice stuff for the base. We maintain all the buildings, both on the base, Nellis, and Creech. Oh, she wants me to talk about the Thunderbird. So a couple of months ago, one of our Thunderbird went down, and I was one of the first guys that went out there, and the pilot died in the crash. So what we had to do was pick up all the body parts and all the aircraft remains to help the Air Force and the family get rest and recover the aircraft as well. Thank you very much for having me, and thank the Rotary Club for having us and giving us this lunch. I know this is nice, and the gift we got was pretty awesome, so thank you all.
Next up, we have Staff Sergeant Lee DeVore.
How's it going, everyone? Staff Sergeant DeVore. I'm with the 823rd Maintenance Squadron. It's the Combat Search and Rescue. I maintain 18 helicopters there. One of the things I did to win this award was helicopter touring company went down in, Grand Canyon, and we were called out to go out and recover them. So I pretty much got the phone call at home, got dressed, got into work, got the aircraft airworthy for the flight crew to come out. They took off and ended up saving a victim that had third-degree burns, and there's a few other things I can't disclose, but that's one of the things we do. Thank you very much. I appreciate the award. You guys do great things.
Next up is Airman First Class Sierra Anderson.
Hi, so I'm a paralegal. I work with the Warfare Center, so we're in charge of the Justice Department. I'm actually a courts paralegal. Nellis keeps me very busy, but I enjoy my job. It's very fast-paced, but rewarding. So, on Nellis we have a deployment line where you go through and you get a out briefing from a bunch of different programs, legal being one of them. And then you go through the line, you get all your shots and paperwork that you need to get ready to deploy. We make sure that everyone has done their LOAC, so Law of Armed Conflict training, and we sign off on them and help get them ready to deploy.
Next up is Staff Sergeant Michael Kephart.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sergeant Kephart from the 820th Red Horse Unit. I have been in for about 9 years in August. One of the things that led me to winning the Wetzel Award is I was a craft lead for a $600,000 school that we have going on at the Nellis or 820th Red Horse Squadron. And what the school is going to allow, it's going to allow for contingency training. It's going to allow us to invite members deploying to prepare them for the contingency operations that Red Horse particularly does over in the desert. And with that tied into the construction of this facility, we have a New Horizons mission, and that's more of like a humanitarian mission that headed over to Panama for about the past 3 months. They just got back this week. And I invited 30 members that were heading off to that to train them up and get them all qualified and proficient at their job and get ready to succeed in the mission. So I really appreciate the invite, and I look forward to the meal. Thank you very much.
And last but not least, we have Staff Sergeant Aristides Salvatierra.
Hello there, Rotary Club members. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for having me, and it's extremely humbling to get the Wetzel Award out of just out of everybody that was able to put in and just being with you guys. But I'm Staff Sergeant Salvatierra. I'm from the 77th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, and my job title is Aircraft Armament, but I'm more specifically just a weapons troop. We work in teams of 3. I would be the team chief, and I have 2 other guys that assist me in loading all types of things like bombs, missiles, and ammunition for the F-15, which is what I currently work on. It's strictly air-to-air models, but I do have experience in the A-10, and I'm open to work any aircraft on the fleet, basically. What led me to, or what pushed me to help me win this award was during routine maintenance. Sorry, I'm a little sick. I discovered a air-to-missile, an air intercept missile hangar on one of the launchers. Actually was broken, and that jet was actually scheduled to fly that day. And it just so happened to be that when I was doing the routine maintenance, you're supposed to take off the missile and then do whatever you got to do to the rail. And luckily, I was there to slide that missile off, or else it would have, equated to somewhere about $400,000 worth of damage to the aircraft that day. But pretty much that's it. Thanks for having me.
I just wanted you all to know that in addition to the plaques and the lunch, at the ceremony at Nellis, we also give them $150 in Lowry gift cards, $150 gift cards to any station casinos. They get a 2-for-1 complimentary tickets to see Legends in concert at the Flamingo, and they also get their name on the Warfare plaque that's in the hallway of the Warfare Center, along with everyone that has come before them. So they get quite a lot of recognition from our club.
Thank you. No. So while they take care of the formalities, the photos that will be in next week's reel, I like how casually they just say, "Oh, it was just routine," and save 400,000. So thank you guys. Thank you for your service. Let's give them another round of applause. Next up, I would like to call to the front Kim Neone and Dr. Michelle Paul. As you know, the 1 October massacre happened, and our club paid for the first 3 funerals. Rotary clubs from around the world contacted our club and wanted to know how they could help. Some of them sent money, some sent advice, but we did receive a lot of checks. So when we stopped paying for the funerals, we had extra. So I want you to know that our foundation, you can rest assured that our bookkeeping is on point, and we know how much money we had left in that account. And for that, I would like to introduce Kim Neone.
Thank you, President Michael. So, as you all know, when the events of October 1 happened, there were many people within our community that came out to help, to offer a helping hand. And a good number of the folks that were impacted, that were at the concert, ended up going to Thomas and Mack Center, as well as the Mendenhall facility that were made available to those folks. And so one of the early people that were asked to come and offer help and in aiding those people affected was Michelle and her team with the Practice, which is UNL's Community Mental Health Clinic. And so they were part and parcel of the group that were helping to start the healing process with the folks. So with that, I want to introduce Dr. Michelle Paul to say a few words about the Practice. Michelle?
Well, thank you very much for having me today. I want to take a minute to tell you why gifts like yours are so important, perhaps more important than you realize. Nevada is 51st in the nation for access to quality mental health care given our high need. So we are in a mental health crisis. October 1st only made that more apparent to us. At UNLV, I am the director of a clinic called The Practice, and it is a community mental health training clinic. So the clinicians are graduate students. They are next generation licensed psychologists, mental health counselors, school psychologists, and so on. So gifts like yours will help us continue to provide free services to the folks affected by October 1. But more importantly, they help me and my faculty train the next generation of mental health providers. And we will have a ripple effect. We will go out and spread help and hope and healing for this community's recovery now and well into the future. And it's the generosity of your gift and gifts like yours that make it possible. So I'm giving you a thank you card. And in that thank you card is a picture of my current student staff. And I want you to see the future generation of mental health providers that you are helping me to train. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't go away. I'll make sure this gets circulated, but before you leave, Dr. Paul, it gives me great pleasure to give you a check for $4,000 from our club to continue your great work. Thank you. Yes, and there is some information about the practice, about what Dr. Paul talked about. I will leave it by the badges, so if you would like to read more, it'll be there. And then Rosalie and Janet Linder, one or both of you. Whoever's not eating.
Hello, everyone. Today, we would like to introduce our new member, Tom Wolfinger. Tom, could you please join us? So, we have a short little verse we're going to read to you, and we've condensed it due to the fact that we have a lot going on today. So, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Las Vegas, it is our privilege to induct a new member today. Please allow me to introduce Tom Wolfinger. And his sponsor is Ted McAdams. Thank you. You have been invited to membership, and our Rotary has accepted you as a person of good character, high ethical standards, a person who has the heart of service and will represent our club in the Las Vegas and Rotary communities. So, did you want to go ahead and pin him, Janet? She's trying. And then, while we're doing this, if everyone would please stand and just welcome him with a nice applause. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And then we'll let Tom say just a few words about himself.
Hey, folks. My name is Tom Wolfinger. I enjoy long walks on the beach. I'm a Libra. If anybody's in. No, I'm actually new to the area. I grew up in the Northeast, run a local staffing company. I'm very interested in learning how I can contribute anything I can while I'm here.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, Tom. You should meet Marie Walsh and Jim Hunt. I think the three of you will understand each other. I only caught like every third word. That's me. So, okay, so just so you know, there is a board photo. So current board members, if you would like to be remembered for posterity, please see Jim Tucker right after this meeting. If you don't, or if you want to claim you were on the board, you're also welcome to be in the photo. So please enjoy a quick 2 minutes for lunch and fellowship. Thank you. So as you know, Rotary's number one corporate aim is to eradicate polio. And like I mentioned in last week's president's message, my son just received his polio vaccination 2 weeks ago. And for 60 cents, you can change somebody's life. And I think this is a nice tie-in to what Dan Russell is going to talk about, and probably what he has seen in India with polio. So there's only 3 endemic countries remaining. So for 60 cents, you can make a difference. So please continue to donate to that. Jamie, if you are ready. Past President Karen Wisenhunt, I don't think is here. Okay, so she had an announcement. Kerry, perhaps you know about this? About a youth exchange student? No? Okay, our club is hosting a youth exchange student next year. It will be a male, I think 15 or 16 years old. He's a Frenchman. I don't know exactly where, but if you would like to serve as a host family, we're looking for 4 host families. So for about 90 days, if you would like a French teenager in your home, please sign up. Speaking about the French, past President Steve Linder. Are you coming to the front?
Oh, yeah.
Official.
Okay, President Michael, from our tour of Europe, I did attend a Rotary meeting at Saint-Germain-en-Laye, and we got a flag to present to our club from that Rotary meeting. I appreciate the time in the agenda because he said I was going to get fined anyway, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for your $95 donation to our foundation. Thanks for taking all those trips. And then, Jamie, if you could take the microphone to Lucy to talk about our Alpine picnic.
Hello, so the Alpine picnic is going to be Saturday, July 21st at Bob Warner's cabin. And like I said, we need more volunteers for the weekend prior to that. We have about 7 volunteers, and I would probably like about maybe 3 or 4 more just to have and go up there and help us pull weeds, help us get the house ready for the following weekend. So everything's in the green binder. If you guys can sign up, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. And then if you could take the microphone to past President Dave Thorson. Dave told me on Tuesday night, just in passing, Dave told me you should start practicing, fill a bucket full of ice, and just dump it over your head because something is apparently about to happen. So
yes, so 2 weeks from today, in the evening, is the debunking party of President Michael. It's at Sealy Restaurant. A great menu. You do have to RSVP. And Michael, actually Sean informed me that even my debunking committee hasn't RSVP'd, and you all better be there because I'm not doing the skip by myself. So, but everybody else sign up. It's going to be a great event. We're dining indoors, so you don't have to worry about the heat, and it's going to be great. So be there on the 28th. See you then.
Thank you. And then, Jamie, we quickly need to raise a couple of bucks for our foundation. So if you could take the microphone over to that table to Sidra Kane. Sidra Kane, how are you?
I'm fine. I guess I better stand, right?
Yes.
Because I knew you all say stand up, Sidra.
Yes,
even
so
when
that
I
everybody
am
can
standing.
see you.
Okay, what? What did I do?
Sidra, I know this is just an appreciation. We made it. Sidra, if you didn't know, was the speaker's chair for this year. Next week is the club assembly, so that means Sidra's job is done for this year.
Amen.
So,
thank you.
Good job, Sidra.
It was a joy working with you, Michael.
And just to show that no good deed goes unpunished, thank you for your $95 donation
You're
to our
welcome.
foundation.
I'm more than happy to donate it.
Sure, thank you. Thanks for your job this year. Thanks, Sidra. And then one more over here. I know our future is bright in our club, and we do many great things, but if you could take the microphone to Janice Lanke. It's so bright, Janice Lanke is wearing sunglasses. So I didn't know that I was that bad looking, Janice. So you're going to have to explain yourself, and you may as well say whatever you want because it's going to cost you. Whatever you want. You're going to pay the same amount.
Okay, this is my third eye surgery. But I am on the mend. I'm doing great, and I really appreciate everybody's support. This is my driver for the week. My new sales manager is my driver. Hope she's happy.
Other duties as assigned?
So, no, just I don't know what else to say. Thank you.
Thank you. We're happy to hear you're on the mend, and we're not making fun of your health.
You should, because these are horrible looking on me.
Well, we are glad to see you back so quickly after the surgery. Good to see you, Janice. So then we're moving on to our drawing. So to draw the joker, the number is 206-3577. 3577. Bueller? 3577. Somebody has it. Somebody has it going once. Oh, Mike. Yay. Yay, 4 spades. There is your $10. Congratulations, sir. And then for the Larry Bucks is 3588. Wait, Mike, is that you again? 206-3588. Oh, actually, we are going to have a redraw. 206-3555. 3555. Past President Sharon McNair. Pause for this. Gotta get the photo.
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you.
Enjoy. And then I would like to call to the front Ted McAdam to introduce our speaker.
Thank you, President Michael. It's really an honor to introduce Danny Russell. I'm going to share a couple of brief personal observations of Dan. You can read his bio in the wheel. You can also talk with him personally. He's got quite a history. Danny is here to speak with us. He brought his entourage, Jane, his wife, and a good friend, Barbara Kalb, and Larry Morris are three of his entourage. He's got a much larger entourage if you understand who Danny is. I met Danny about 28 years ago, a long time, it seems, during the formative years of Central Christian Church, when it was just a small congregation meeting on the east side of town in two small buildings on Mojave. If you know the history of the church, it has really grown significantly over the years. During Dan's tenure at Central, and for many years, he led a very successful Boy Scout troop, enriching the lives of countless young men. One of Dan's greatest accomplishments, however, was starting the Zion Boot Camp, which meets in Springdale, Utah. It's a yearly Christian men's retreat, and I think Danny, we're in our 7th or 8th year, something like that. It's quite an experience if you've never been to one. As you can read in the wheel, his bio, after listening to his presentation today, you should realize that his efforts to rescue and help men and women and children living in difficult situations extends around the world. What a privilege. Dan loves sharing what is important in his life, primarily his Christian faith and love for his family. On a sad note, Dan's mother, Mary Bell, passed into eternity last Saturday afternoon. She is missed by the entire Russell family. In conclusion, Dan is a successful businessman, a husband, a father, and a community leader. Yet, what a guy. I'm proud to call Dan a personal friend, a Rotary friend, and a brother in Jesus Christ, Dan Russell. Thank you, Ted. Yeah, we lost a dear friend, Dave Wells. I was real close to Dave, and his assistant, Helen, had called me, and we reminisced about Dave Wells and all the conversations I had with him, and what a prince of a guy, and we'll really miss him and be praying for his family, and especially his son, D.C., who took care of his dad in the later years. I know that's like... And it was a real blessing to spend a lot of time with her. And she was born when this club formed 95 years ago. And I talked to the coroner, and the coroner said, "Your mom was her heart slowed down and then stopped. She died in her home on her favorite couch, and went to be with the Lord, and what a perfect way to go." So anyway, we're going to have her funeral next week, but she was a wonderful, wonderful mother. In the presentation, I'll be referencing my dear wife, wife of my youth, going on 38 years, and so we have us 2 boys, and we have a couple granddaughters, and she's supported me in all these things that we're going to be talking about. She's always been the strength behind me, and I'm so grateful for her. And we have Barbara Kalb that I'll be introducing a little bit more during the program, and my dear friend Larry Morse, who's over here, who I'll also be referencing. So I hope this presentation encourages you. It's a little off the beaten path, a little unique, but anyway, I was grateful that Michael was invited me to give this presentation. So what's an Irishman doing in India, huh? So anyway, let me proceed here a little bit. So this is just a little bit of the Russell clan. The first picture on the left there is my youngest son, John Russell. You'll be hearing about him a little later. He ran the Boston Marathon, and so he's engaged. So we'll see what happens there in the future. And then just to the right of him is my son Mark, who many of you in the club know. He was a member of the club for years, and he now lives in Guadalajara, Mexico, with his wife and 2 daughters, and 2 little pictures of our granddaughters. And then there's my beautiful wife on her horse there, and it's been a true joy. So, not your ordinary trip. I prepared this specifically for the club. It was, hope it not too disjointed with my mom passing away and all the kind of distractions that come with that, and sadness that comes with it, and talking to my brothers and friends and so forth. I just hope this PowerPoint presentation can flow, and you guys can get a sense of what has taken place. So, life before India, Ted referenced it, and in the wheel it references this. Other than my family and business and the nonprofits that I've been so involved with, this was basically a main part of my life before India, and we had a great. It was just a fabulous time. I wouldn't trade it for anything because of the time I got to spend with those boys. I still get calls from them. They'll call me from different parts of the world, and boys that are in the Air Force. Nellis, what a great time to have the Wetzel Awards, because we had such a wonderful partnership with Nellis Air Force Base. You guys were wonderful, and there's a number of the boys that after they became Eagle Scouts, they said, Mr. Russell, I want to join the United States Air Force, and they did. And those calls I get from those boys are from on the various Air Force bases they're at. So thank you. I want to thank Nellis Air Force Base. This is when the F-22 first came to Nellis Air Force Base, and that's General Idy there, who's since retired. But that was a great afternoon. This was backpacking down the Paria, 50 miles down the Paria River. It's the longest, deepest, one of the longest, deepest slot canyons in the world, and those boys never forgot these trips like this. This is in Wyoming, the Green River Wilderness area, and we did a pack trip on horseback. This is ice climbing in Alaska on a glacier. You do things like this, and you will not lose the older boys to cars and girls. Trust me. They'll put this in number one priority. So there's a group of older boys that we took to Alaska. It got us into boys' life, that trip right there. So an unexpected meeting. That is a pastor on the left there. His name is Pastor Sadyanadam, and then my son is on the John, who just ran the Boston Marathon, is on the right. And so I'm Mr. Boy Scout leader, and I'm in my office early one morning, and I get an email, spam, like getting a Nigerian email, and I rolled my mouse over the little X to delete it. I said, "Oh, what the heck? I'll read this one." And I read it. It was from this pastor on the left, and he said, "My name is Pastor Sadyanadam of India. Your email address was given to me. What can I pray about?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." And the next email will be, he wants a credit card number, right? So anyway, I'm being the skeptic I am, I fired off an email back to him. Who are you, and how did you get my email address? And he emailed the next day, and he told me who he was, and said his mother was born in a tribal village in India and couldn't have children, and itinerant pastor came through and said, if you put your trust in Jesus Christ, if he so chooses, he can make your barren womb fruitful. And she, in fact, became pregnant, and that was the guy sending me the email. And he said he married a young woman, and they poured their lives into the slums of India, helping the people in the slums of India, and they prayed for 12 years that God would send them help. And one day, a pastor by the name of John came through that slum area. He handed him my email address and said, "Write to this man, he'll help you." And of course, when he wrote back and explained that, of course, I didn't believe him. And I said, he's trying to pull the wool over my eyes. And I kept querying him probably for 2 years. But he never changed his story. And he said he had never seen the man before, and he had never seen him since. And I had done nothing in India. I could point it out on a map. I could tell you where India was on a map, but that was about it. So my wife and I, we prayed about it and said, maybe we should, let's step out, take a risk, and help him a little bit. And still questioning things and still pretty skeptical. And so we started to do that while all this was going on. My son on the right, and he had become over a period of time very rebellious, and we had done all the tough love, taken the door off his bedroom, take all his privileges away, and we were pretty much wits' end, So my wife and I, we made a joint decision, number one, that I would step out of scouting, which was a huge decision, and so I could. Did my son get better, or did he get worse? And he got worse. So anyway, we were in unison on this, and
we woke up one morning and we said, unless there's a miracle in our son's life, we're just not going to have him be disobedient to his parents anymore. And when he comes in tonight, we're gonna send him right out through the front door of the house and turn him over to the Lord. And it was a very rough day. That morning, I had sent an email to that pastor right there, and I said, this is the day, and he knew all about it because of having a lot of correspondence with him. I said, I'd ask you to please pray. I didn't know if he got that email or not because it's nighttime in India. And so that evening, John came in the door, and I said, John, your mom and I want to talk to you. And he said, that look, he goes, what now? And I said, I want you to sit down. And I didn't know if he was going to sit down. And he did. And my wife pretty much, she had been reading in Proverbs about disobedient kids, and totally unplanned, she just started reading to him out of Proverbs. And my son would have no more sat there 15 minutes, and I have to be very honest, it was crazy. I'm looking right across the dining room table at him, and it was like he's being held down. And so he would have never sat there for 15 minutes, and at hour 2.5, he's still there. And at hour 2.5, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. And I was looking at him, and something was going on with him. And I stopped everything, and I said, John, is there anything you want to say? And he said, yes. He said, I can argue with my parents, but I can't argue with the Bible. I am so sorry. And he started to weep. This hard-hearted little kid just started to weep. And, of course, we start weeping. And we all gathered together and cried for a while, and then collected ourselves. And then I asked my John a little later. I said, John, how would you like to go out of the hay shed and get the door for your bedroom, and we'll take it down? And he says, just like this, he goes, sure, Dad. I'm going, whoa, where'd that voice come from? And I knew something had happened, and we went out the hay shed, and I'm standing on a couple bales of hay, pulling his door down, and looking at his face under the bright fluorescent lights. I was shocked. I go, John, are you okay? And he said, yeah, Dad, why? I go, your face is different. And it was kinder. It was brighter. His eyes were brighter. His face was smoother. It was just, I go, what the heck happened to our son? And for those of you who've known me a long time, I pretty much have my feet on the ground. I'm not some flake, and as I'm telling you this, but it truly did happen. 2 days later, John and I are having a father-son conversation like we had never had before in the backyard, and he said, Dad, you need to know this. Tomorrow, which would have been a Friday, he said, I had it all planned out to run away and never come back again. So that was a shocker. And then I heard back from the pastor in India, and he said, Brother, I got your email address. I got your email that you sent that morning, nighttime for us. He goes, as soon as I received it, I called everyone up in our church, and we all gathered at our church. This in the slums, this halfway built church with sticks and mortar and rebar sticking out of it. They all gathered at this little church, and they prayed all night long. And when the sun was coming up in India, and they were just finishing the prayer, is when that transformation took place across the dining room table. So fast forward 2 months, and I'm upstairs in my house, and John came up, and I said, John, how would just you and me, we did some Boy Scout stuff together. My son was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. He was like Dr. Jekyll, the scout troop, Mr. Hyde, with his friends that he hung with, and they were some pretty rough characters. But how would you like to go to India and thank the pastor in his church for praying for you? And he said, same thing. He goes, sure, Dad. I mean, 2 months earlier, he would have thought I was a psycho. And so 1 year to the day, when I received that email, John and I walk out of an airport at 2 a.m. in the morning in Hyderabad, India, and we're greeted by 100 people from the slums of India, and they're all crying. They never thought anyone cared about them, and they never thought in their life they'd ever meet anyone that they would spend time with from America. So that began a journey for us. And one thing they did ask, they asked if my son and I would speak at a little gospel festival, and I go in India, and I go, no, I don't do gospel festivals. I'm an insurance guy from Vegas with my son. We don't do gospel festivals. And he said, please, and so how do you say no? And we said, okay, we will, not knowing anything, and we're real nervous about going, by the way, and anyway, they asked for us to send our pictures over. So anyway, we're driving in Hyderabad, and my son goes, Dad, look out the window. And that poster was on the side of a huge building, and it's in Telugu, and it says Great Gospel Meeting. And I'm like, so my son's freaking out, I'm freaking out, and so anyway, like John, my son John goes, Dad, I'm not talking. I go, that's okay, you don't have to talk, and I'm freaking out inside, going, what the heck? So anyway, there we were catatonic at this gospel festival, and truly, we're going. I'm like, when we got there, no one was there, and I go, thank goodness, no one's here. And then all these people start coming down these dirt roads, and not by the hundreds, by the thousands. And so we're both like, semi-comatose. And this is just halfway back at this gospel festival. And there's another little picture of what was going on. And my son said he wasn't going to talk, and I was up trying to figure out what I was going to say, and he taps me on the shoulder, and he said, Dad, I'll tell him the part of my disobedience and going to jail and other stuff. And he did, and it was, their eyes were as big as saucers when he explained what was happening. And I didn't, and when I got up, I had no idea what I was going to talk about, but someone had given me a little gospel track, and it's called Steps to Peace with God. So I had it in my pocket, and I just pulled it out, and I read it verbatim with that translator there on the right of him, and when I got through with it, there were hundreds of people coming forward. It was kind of like a miniature Billy Graham deal or something, but and I had no idea what was going to happen, and hundreds of people started coming forward and put their trust in Christ. We're humbled. It was amazing, and all these things I'm telling you have absolutely nothing to do with Dan Russell. Has everything to do with God, and this God of this the creator of this universe. Like Jerry Engel said a couple weeks ago, this God we serve is so huge, and He's has created everything. And so I take zero credit for anything. But there was my son, and it was amazing. I have that on. By the way, I have that on video. His talk. It's very short. It's only a couple minutes. I have a couple minute cut out of it, but we don't have time right now. There he was. He went down afterwards, and all the kids just surrounded him. They wanted to touch him and hold him, and yeah, it was pretty amazing experience for both of us. It changed both of our lives. There he is in a little bitty church with some of the kids, and this is where the kids live. Yeah, you have no idea. It's just, people travel to India and they get the India experience, and yeah, you dig around in some of this stuff, you're going to see stuff it boggles the mind. It assaults the mind. See some of the stuff we've seen. Yeah, there's another precious little church that John and I went to, and see those windows there. This is right outside the window. That's exactly what is right outside the window. But this is a church. My older son, Mark, is exactly in the middle there. You see, he's with his hands up, and you'll see this church. Look at the roof of that church. It's just cloth with a bunch of holes in it. But they're some of the happiest people you're going to ever want to meet. A little widow holding my son Mark's cheeks. I went to a Rotary Club meeting. These guys were super nice guys, but I do have to tell you this. I wasn't even thinking. I brought Pastor Sajjanadam with me, and the caste system is still alive and well in India, because I tried to introduce Pastor Sajjanadam to these guys, and they wouldn't even recognize his existence in the room. They didn't look at him. When I tried to introduce him, they kept looking at me and smiling, and I'm like freaking out, and so is my son. They said, "Dad, what's going on in here?" And because of the untouchable caste system, and if you're a Christian, you're even kind of underneath that. So these were high caste Hindus, and it was not a good experience, but they were super nice to me, and I don't know if this club would have passed the 4-way test. Anyway, there's Larry Morse over there. He's in this picture, and Larry's a dear friend, and he is the treasurer of a foundation we created. By the way, on that foundation, I wasn't planning on doing anything. I step out of scouting and step into India almost the same day. God lays India in my lap, and based on that story I just shared with you earlier, and so someone picked up after we got back this crazy story that happened in India, and I went and talked to a men's group in Arizona, about 100 guys, business guys, and 2 guys came up afterward and said, "Man, I don't know what it is, but I think we're supposed to help you." And I go, "Well, I'm not doing anything." And so he says, "Well, we just trade emails?" And I said, "Sure." And then the same thing happened. I talked to a group of men in Colorado, Ohio, Atlanta, and Toronto, Canada, and the same thing kind of happened. And and then Larry and I met, and Larry goes, "What are you doing?" And they became the board of directors of a foundation that was created, totally unplanned. I didn't want it, but when God says He wants to put something together, He'll do all the work. So anyway, Larry is the treasurer of our foundation, and Larry's, by the way, a former CFO for Flying Tigers that merged with Federal Express years ago. So Larry lives out in Boulder City. But anyway, we met this powerful political leader, very powerful. He's like a county commissioner with millions of people underneath him. To get into his office, as Larry will tell you, we had to go through a series of guards with machine guns. And he just loved us because we were from Las Vegas. Loved Las Vegas. He doesn't speak any English, but loves Las Vegas. So we're his buddy, and he was so happy we're from Las Vegas that he put an article in this Telugu newspaper. Has millions of people circulation, and so we became an instant rock star. We walk into our hotel, and the people in the hotel had seen this article, and it really helped what we're doing over there too, because there is a lot of trouble, hot spots in India, and a lot of persecution that you won't read about in mainstream media. So anyway, that really helped. That political leader became a good friend of our friends over in India. Fast food in India. This was went to the state of Odisha, and we stopped and got a little snack at this guy's fast food place. But anyway, so just take a big risk at this stuff, but it was all very tasty. Yeah, how many can fit in a taxi? I don't know how many are in that taxi, but at least 100. So I don't know. So yeah, there's good stuff. There was a pastor and his daughter were on a motorcycle, and they got run over by a truck, and she had to have her leg removed. And so they have no money. These pastors have no money, and so some business guys, we got together and we paid for her artificial leg. And then when Larry Morris and I were in India in 2012, this girl walks up with her dad, and I go, "Boy, she looks vaguely familiar." And this was the same girl. So that was really an emotional meeting. Bicycles. Never in their lifetime can these poor slum pastors afford a bicycle. Yeah, never. They would never be able to afford a bicycle. So one of my one of my buddies here in Las Vegas said, Dan, let's get those guys that are in the trenches that know where all the orphans and widows are, and let's get them some bicycles. And so this was huge. Arrival in India, this is just, 7-8 months ago. And you'll see Barbara Kalb and my good friend Jonathan Kaler, myself there. And they'll lay a lot of garlands on you, that's for sure. Yeah, we had to keep taking them off and put more on. And garlands are pretty darn inexpensive in India. But that's we arrived. And when it says -2, there were supposed to be 2 other people with us. And it was supposed to be my brother-in-law, Chip Hinderleiter, and my wife, Jane, who was going to go over to India for the first time. But God had other plans, and the day before we were to leave, I get a phone call from at the house. I was upstairs, and right outside at our barn, my wife's crying on the phone, said, Dan, my horse stomped me, and I think my leg is broken. So I ran downstairs out to the barn, and sure enough, she's laying on the ground, and her horse had crushed her leg, so this is the day before we were leaving, and so we rushed her to the emergency ward, and that took most of the day. And Jane said, "No, I still want you to go." I said, "You want me to go?" And she said, "You still have to go." And so we moved upstairs, downstairs, and we coordinated it all with her friends and church friends and stuff, and to take good care of Jane. And then Barbara Kalb and Jonathan and I left that morning for India. And so we were driving down the road, and I had to stop. And that was actually on a side street in this, kind of slum area of India. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, so anyway, that just totally cracked me up. Only in India, right? Only in India. Yeah, well, this is the women from, and I have so many photos, and I don't have the time to show them, of course, but this are some sweet and precious women from the Banjara tribe in India, and you'll see Barbara Kalb right in the direct center, and they gave her an outfit. These are some of the kids, and I love it. It fits right into the Las Vegas Rotary Club mission, teaching youth to succeed through literacy education and life skills development. And Barbara contacted me some years ago, and and Jane, together, they have a real heart for these kids. And these are kids all from the slum areas. These kids have no chance. And they poor nutrition. They'll never get educated because there's no money. It costs to have education in India in these areas. And so they're all from the slums. So through Barbara and her involvement over the years, these kids have great teachers now. They're being taught in a church right here. And great teachers and school supplies and food and clothing. So anyway, they are just well. This is a short little song. You can hear them singing this song. Every person is a gift of God. Every person is a gift of God. Every person is a gift of God. So they learn this song in English. They don't speak English. They speak Telugu. So anyway, this was just sent. It was just sent. So. But they're really cute kids, gosh. And when we were over there, they learned some other songs, and it was real precious. So this is where they live. Where that church is right around the corner from what I'm looking at right now. So, if you're walking around, you don't understand all this. We gave some sewing machines out to some widows. That widow right there in the center, her husband died of AIDS, and she's HIV positive with 2 young kids. This widow would change her life. The widows in India will never remarry, and unfortunately, they're horribly abused. This is Barbara praying with some of the widows. This is what my son did for the widows when he ran the Boston Marathon. That's one of the widows, a young widow. She'll never be remarried. That's crazy. It's just a cultural thing. Yeah, all-night prayer. They have all-night prayer. This is just last week, and they pray. They prayed for a lot of people in this club. Many of you know Bruce Quinn, when his daughter died 6 years ago. They were praying for the family for months and months. They'll drive 100 to 200 kilometers on a bus, an Indian bus, to get to all-night prayer from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. and pray all night long. Okay, so goodbye to the land of the rising sun. Hello to the United States and Flag Day today. I'm so grateful to be in the United States, after being in India. But boy, I'll tell you, a piece of my heart is in India. And this cute photo, I just threw this there. So grateful. They're so grateful. And you know what? I'm grateful for this club all the years I've been in it. You guys have been a huge blessing, and I mean that. The friendships I've gained in this club over the years are priceless. So I just hope this talk blessed you and encouraged you. And again, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.
Time for maybe just 3 questions. Anybody has a question? Okay, well then, let me say one of the things that you don't see when you're president is all the requests members bring to you and ask of you. So Dan, I don't know, months ago, asked me to write this specific letter to a Rotary club in India. And I said, why do you want a letter? And he said, it's very formal, and you have to sign it. You cannot just print it. And Dan wanted some banners, and I said, yeah, that's fine. And so I wrote this letter. I don't even know what I wrote. But I just said, he's a good guy. He's fine. And I still didn't understand. But then Dan said, hey, my face is pretty big there. I got posters I can show you. So I said, okay, Dan, that does it for me. So I didn't know all that, but I said, Dan, when you come back, I think you should share what you do over there, because I think it's pretty interesting for people in this club to see what Rotary clubs and what you do over there in India. So thank you for your speech today, Dan. And we will present a hot meal to a homeless vet in your name. Thanks. Thank you, guys. And then, as I always say it with me, Rotary is like tennis. The one who serves best usually wins. Now go forth and make a difference.